Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Friday, October 11th, 2024. We are here for a live Q&A session. We want to help you get those Week 6 lineups set so you can decimate your league mates. If it's Steve in accounting, if it is your cousin Roger who you can't stand, if your sister has just been irritating everyone in your league and you just want to shut her up, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you win. Today, I am joined by my Dynasty show and the co-host of the Devi Devotional, the one and only Mr. John Arrington. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty Coach A. John, how are we doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing great. And let me just say, Steven Accounting has been asking for it, man. He just asking for it, running his mouth. It's time to shut him down.
Yeah, get that jerk Toby in HR, too. What does that jackwagon think he knows?
All
right?
of them. You know, they auto drafted and they think that they have a good team and everything. They go out, they don't even know what they're doing. They score 132 points and
right?
beat you by 2 points, and then they run their mouth for like 2 months. We're gonna take them down today, though.
You're taking him down today. Our home league, my wife's one of her best friends. One year, she accidentally missed the draft, auto drafted her whole team. And then she was so annoyed by it, she just didn't set a lineup the rest of the season and then dropped out of the league. She won the league.
Fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen.
To be fair, this was in the days of like straight up standard scoring.
It was a little different back then. My wife did something similar where we begged her to join the league just because we needed one more person, and she, she's from Boston, and so she drafted Tom Brady the year that he was suspended for the first 6 weeks. She drafted Tom Brady in the first round, and then she drafted Gronk in the second round. She won the league because Brady came back and dominated and everything in the second half of the season, and she absolutely won the league. So you gotta love it.
Yeah. Brad Bolt in the chat saying, look at that clock. Everybody loves the clock, John. They love your clock.
I know. It's the most ridiculous thing. It was a gift from a family friend, and I just don't know what to do with it. We never knew what to do with it, so we put it up on our wall. It doesn't even accurately tell time, but it should, I have to change. I guess it's because it's so freaking huge, but I have to change the battery on it like once a week, or else it won't actually keep up with time. It's never accurate.
Here's what you do. Just set it at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock somewhere, baby.
It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We've got our first fantasy football question dropping in the chat here. Daniel Duong over there on X asking, in a half PPR league, John, Darius Slayton against that weak Cincinnati secondary, Tyrone Tracy against Cincinnati, or Chase Brown against the Giants defense. So we're fishing in the same game here. I'm assuming we're going to need to start one. Who are you going with out of these three, John?
Well, I think Singletary's going to play, so I'm going to say not Tracy, although, he wouldn't be a terrible, terrible play or anything like that. And I really need to see Chase Brown do it for more than just scoring touchdowns. I need to actually see him kind of take over the game and everything. I think I'm going with Darius Slayton here. He obviously showed that he could do pretty good things when Malik Neighbors is out last week, and I don't think much is going to change. They've kind of figured out what they want this offense to be, and I think he's just going to go into the Malik Neighbors role, although he is definitely not Malik Neighbors, and God, please bring us Malik Neighbors back as soon as possible, because this is scaring the crap out of me.
So I'm with you. When it looked like Zach Moss was going to not play this week with the foot injury, I was really excited for Chase Brown. It's now looking like Moss is a full participant today, going into the weekend without a designation. It's Slayton for me, especially in PPR. He was a target hog last week. We're without Malik Neighbors yet again, and it's looking like this could be somewhat of an extended absence for Neighbors. So Slayton's a guy who is available in a lot of leagues. I do believe that we talked about him earlier in the week on the waiver wire show. Somewhere around, he was 2 to 3 to 4% rostered, and he's not picking up steam. So he's a guy that I would definitely go after. And actually, we did talk about him on the show yesterday. Slayton is 7% rostered on Yahoo, 7% on ESPN. He was Casey's post-waiver ad
for
the week. So Slayton's a guy you should go out and get. Obviously you have him, so you're ahead of it just a little bit here. Now S. here on on YouTube. He wants to know, what do you guys think of Bucky Irving being the lead back in versus the Saints this week? I'm all in on Bucky Irving this week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, he's looked great. He hasn't really gotten enough touches, and so we can't say he has this like big game or anything like that, but he's looked great in spurts. The Saints do have a tough defense, but they're not insane this year or anything like that. I guess I have him graded as a C player this week. So, I mean, like temper expectations, but I think we can definitely start him at the very least as a flex.
Yeah, I think he has the upside of possibly being an RB1 in this matchup, but we'll see. We got Omega in the chat saying, BCE, what is up, homie? It is great to see you in here. Vince Mapstone from Down Under. Oh, hey, gang, what's the scoop? We're here to help you win, my friend. That's what it is. Toronto Dave, IBWT, in Beth we trust. That is so freaking true. Jamie Parag, Optimus guys, what is up, peeps? Jamie, always a pleasure to see you. Then we have got Nick the Kick on YouTube. Hey, y'all, who do I start? Do I start at 2 flex spots? BTJ, Olave, Kraft, Keenan Allen, or Austin Eckler? Who are you going with, John?
Man, I think you got to go with Kraft. With Brian Thomas Jr. is definitely almost like a tie for me, but I really don't mind either one of those. I think they're actually both great plays. In fact, I would say. Actually, it says 2 flex spots. So yeah, there you go. So you have Kraft and BTJ as your 2 starters. I'm not starting Olave with Spencer Rattler there, man. Oh my God, we both saw Rattler at the Senior Bowl. Like we know what's about to happen. It's about to be 92 passes to Alvin Kamara, because I don't know that Spencer Rattler can even see over the line of scrimmage. He's not the tallest player, but even if he can. I don't know that he can actually throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I'm not starting Olave.
The one thing that I will say, I will give Rattler credit for, is it does feel like he can get the ball downfield sometimes. And in this offense with Olave and Rashid Shaheed, he might luck out on a couple of long balls. That said, you're right. I'm not starting Olave.
No. And then yeah, I'm not starting Keenan Allen until he actually shows me that he can do something in that offense. So, like, and that's going forward. I would, unless you're like absolutely desperate, make him show me that he can actually be Keenan Allen again, and then I'll start him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I really like Brian Thomas. I think he could save Trevor Lawrence. We've got Brad Bolt here from Down Under, the homie, the host of the Optimus NFL show, which will be dropping tomorrow, guys. Check that out for NFL bets and analysis on every single game from Brad and Daniel O'Connell. He wants to know, how many running backs would you be starting over Panthers legend Chuba Hubbard? I have multiple offers for my Chuba shares, but I don't know if I take any of them. This season, I don't know how much Jonathan Brooks we're going to see, John.
I am beginning to get more concerned about that. When they said they weren't going to activate him and everything, like, the dude's healthy. We knew that he was, they said it was a clean cut ACL. There was no other ligaments torn, like all that kind of stuff. So the fact that they're slow playing all of this leads me to believe that they don't want him to play more than he's not ready. And so I don't really believe, like, they have no reason. They don't have to do any kind of injury reports. They don't have to talk about if he's healthy or not. All they have to do is either activate him or not activate him. And they're just not doing it. So I think that they want to wait as long as they can, and unfortunately, it might end up being that they just say, hey, screw it, he's going to end up just staying on IR all year long. I hope that's not the case, but every day that goes by and they don't do anything with him makes me believe it a little bit more.
Well, I stayed away from him in redraft. I just had this sneaky feeling that we weren't really going to see much of him, and if we did, it was going to be some spot work late in the season. Well, as bad as this team is, why would you roll this guy out? If he's going to be your future running back, your RB1 down the line, there's no reason to risk it. You're not playing for anything. Just let Chuba Hubbard go. He's been more than sufficient, and he's been great in fantasy. So we have Jay Smells dropping in here from YouTube asking, should I trade Stroud and Metcalf for Mayfield, Connor, and Mooney? A 3-for-2 deal here. So I'll repeat it one more time, John. Stroud and Metcalf for Mayfield, Connor, and Mooney.
Am I assuming that this is a redraft question?
We're going to assume this is dynasty. Any trade, I assume, is dynasty.
Okay, I didn't know because the last pod I was on was talking more about redrafts and stuff when we were talking about like, starts and sits and all that. So,
we're here. We're here for everything.
Oh no. Well, if Jay Smells can let us know, just so we can be clear. But if we are assuming dynasty, I'm sticking with Stroud and Metcalf. Yeah, like as much as I love Mayfield, I really think this is the last year that Connor's going to have like any kind of value or anything like that. And then Darnell Mooney has been amazing as a value, but he is not necessarily an amazing player. Like he's not anyone that's going to change your lineup or anything like that beyond the past few weeks. So I like Darnell Mooney. I don't want to pay up big. And when you're talking about Stroud and Metcalf, then we're paying up big for it. If it's redraft, then maybe we can have a different conversation. But we need to actually double check on that.
Just redraft.
Okay, so it is redraft. Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Okay. So redraft, that does actually change the way I feel about this a little bit. I think I would actually be more inclined to take that.
Yeah, I think especially if you're running into bye week issues and stuff like that. Mooney is producing. I don't know how long it'll be and all that kind of stuff, dynasty wise. But for redraft purposes, I'm fine with it. And then you're getting Connor there. Mayfield's been tearing it up. Mayfield's actually outscoring Stroud.
Right. I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I definitely don't mind it at all, especially if you're trying to help yourself out. If you're already set, then I don't know that you need to make this trade. But if you're like desperate for a win or something to that effect, then absolutely go ahead and mix it up and go get you like a running back and a wide receiver duo.
Okay, well, so we're in luck. He dropped his entire roster in there for us, John. So we have, I'll read this off for all of our audio listeners. We have got Rashad White, Breece Hall, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, Deontay Johnson, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts are his tight ends, Chase Brown, Jonathan Brooks, Tank Dell, Tony Pollard, DK Metcalf, and Tank Bigsby on the bench. This is, yes. Okay. So I'm looking at this team and I'm going to tell you right now, first of all, you have a really good team. And second of all, I'm okay with you making that trade. I think it actually makes your team better. Getting Darnell Mooney and getting Baker Mayfield, it makes this team better. In my opinion.
Because you can get through, Malik Neighbors being out right now, Jonathan Brooks not playing right now. You can get through those weeks, and then if Brooks comes back, if Neighbors comes back, all of a sudden you have this Studley team. I definitely don't mind the trade at all.
Yep. All right, John, we're going to move on. We've got Tyler Sperry, a regular here on the show in the chat. Tyler, thank you so much for tuning in. Who do you guys trust more? We've got Jerome Ford, Tyrone Tracy, Roshan Johnson, or Braylon Allen, or Tyler Algier this week.
Man, how gross is fantasy football right now that this is the questions that we're asking? I know it's, man, honestly, I was gonna say it's not Jerome Ford, but I'm looking at Beth, and Beth is suggesting Jerome Ford. I just don't think we can have any kind of faith in any of the other ones to have a full role. I mean, we love Tyler Algier. We hate him for what he's doing to Bijan Robinson, but is it enough to actually start or warrant like starting him in your actual spots? Probably enough. Tyrone Tracy had the one good week against a bad defense, but we think that Devin Singletary is going to be back and he's going to take back his role and everything. I really need to see him take the role from Devin Singletary before I'm willing to do it, or Devin Singletary to be out, of course. Roshan Johnson, clear, just like I'm out. I want nothing to do with them. I know he punched in the 2 touchdowns or whatever. He did absolutely nothing beyond that. I feel like he might just be like a goal line vulture more than anything else. And I mean that Jerome Ford is not a sexy start by any means, but I mean this is not a sexy list, so I think that's the one that I'm going with.
Yeah, I mean Ford's probably going to see the most volume. I think Tracy probably has the biggest boom. He's averaged 7 yards per carry last week. Roshan, you might get a touchdown or two, you might not. And we don't know what this Jets offense is. And Bijan Robinson, it looks like he might be hurt. He might not play. He's definitely playing. So it's going to be Ford for me. Sorry, we didn't have better news for you, Tyler, but it is Jerome Ford. I don't think that's what you wanted to hear. The biggest Bob over here on YouTube. Who wins? Sun God and Eckler for MHJ, Najee, and Bigsby. This has to be a dynasty trade. So we're going to assume dynasty.
Yeah.
for me, it's the MHJ Najee Bigsby side, but it's because of MHJ and Bigsby.
Oh man, if we're assuming Dynasty here, I think I gotta go with Sun God. I think I gotta go with Amon Ra. I mean, MHJ is one of the best prospects we've seen. I expect great things for him, but he's not doing even what Malik Neighbors is doing right now. And this is not me hating on him by any means or anything like that. I think that MHJ is going to be just fine. But Amon Ra is Amon Ra, and he's doing Amon Ra things right now. Najee and Bigsby and Eckler, we can kind of just take. It's almost take away from like the entire deal. It's almost just
fair enough.
Amon Ra versus MHJ. And right now, I think you have to go with the safety necessarily of Amon Ra. And because otherwise you're just saying it's the hope of MHJ. And I love having hope for MHJ, but I feel like you could probably trade Amon Ra for MHJ at any point this season unless he goes out and just dominates the rest of the year. But he hasn't shown us that he's actually doing that yet.
Well, he's not the target leader. He's not the snap leader. He's not the opportunity leader. It's Trey McBride in that offense.
Right.
It's not MHJ. So you swayed me. I'm back on your side. I'm on the Sun God Eckler side, Bob. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You can catch John every other Tuesday on the Debbie Devotional with Aaron Wilcox. Get your college fantasy football on and just learn a ton more about football in general. Knowing the college game makes you a better manager, whether it's redraft, best ball, DFS, dynasty. It makes you think a little bit more, and you know guys who are coming. So check out the Debbie Devotional, guys. Every other Tuesday, just subscribe to the channel. You'll never miss a show. S. John wants to know, Josh Downs with AR as his QB or Brian Thomas Jr. He lost Nico and needs to start a second wide receiver because DJ Moore is his wide receiver 1 right now. I'm probably going to go BTJ here.
I think that there's a very simple equation that you can do every week for the rest of the season. Is Anthony Richardson starting? Josh Downs is out of my lineup. Is Anthony Richardson benched? Josh Downs is now in my lineup. It's a very simple equation, and if you need us to write that down, we can actually write it down for you and put it down. But yeah, if Anthony Richardson is playing, I want absolutely nothing to do with Josh Downs. We just got done talking about BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. He's been great. He's becoming the wide receiver 1 if he isn't already on that team. And there's safety with that, and there's no safety with Josh Downs with Anthony Richardson there, unfortunately. As much as I absolutely love Josh Downs. This is not me hating on the player at all. I love the player. I cannot have him starting anywhere on any lineup until Joe Flacco is back heading the helm.
Yeah. Well, I think when Flacco was in, you and I were both all over getting Josh Downs in your lineups. The guy had just so much upside with Flacco. It's gone with Anthony Richardson. But if you can go get Alec Pierce on waivers in your league, he would be a really good pivot from Downs or BTJ even possibly this week. Now we've got Shades 721 wants to know Dobbins or Dowdle. This is standard scoring. For me, it's got to be Dowdle. Dobbins is up against that Broncos defense that isn't going to give him anything. I want nothing to do with any part of this Chargers offense this week.
I tend to agree. I have them both as pretty crappy starts, but I do have Dowdle ahead. And I mean, he just had his best game of the season. It looks like he's getting more of that role, which is what we want to see from players that we're starting. Even if they don't have the greatest games, are they gaining that role? Are they getting more of that of that pie and everything? So that's what we want to see. And I think Dowdle is the maybe not obvious answer, but definitely the guy I'm going with.
Okay. Tyler Sperry wants to know, I'm thinking Tracy, Braylon Allen, or Roschon Johnson in redraft. Of those 3, I'm going Roschon Johnson for the touchdown upside. Unless Devin Singletary somehow game time doesn't play. It's Roschon for me.
Like I just said, I think he might be the goal line back. Obviously, Braylon is the goal line back as well. They're doing an offensive switch. I mean, we might see better things out of them, but I feel like as crazy as it is now, like if we thought back 2 or 3 weeks ago, we would have said how broken the Chicago offense is. Now we're starting to see things get a little bit better. I think I agree with you. Tracy's going to be the bigger play guy out of all of those. So I guess it really depends on how bad a shape you are in. Are you projected to lose by 30 or something like that? Maybe I go with Tyrone Tracy. If you're projected to win by 2 or lose by 2, maybe I'm going with Roshan.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you there. All of these come with a caveat, because sometimes you'll take a risk on a player with higher upside, higher ceiling, boom potential if you need the point. So now we have got 3P1C fail on YouTube here asking in PPR, Etienne, Christian Kirk, Zach Moss, or Ridley. Usually you would think that this would be easy. It'd be Travis Etienne after the season he had last year. Not the same player. I'm gonna say Calvin Ridley. I think he has the highest ceiling of these 4 players this week.
He might have the highest ceiling of the 4 players, but as far as I know, he didn't get traded, so he still has Will Levis throwing it to him. So he might have the highest ceiling, but he absolutely has the lowest floor of all these players as point. Well. He can easily put up 0 points. I think this kind of goes back to the same thing we were just talking about. How are you projected to win by a bunch? Or are you projected to lose by a bunch? Because that can make my decision for me for sure. Ridley's probably the only one on this list that can go out and score you 30 points. But he's probably going to score you 2. So I don't want to start Ridley when it's all said and done. Moss has the injury. I think I'm going with Christian Kirk here. I think he's probably the safest pick. And I want to believe in Zach Moss, but he has burnt me already when I've started him this week or this year. He's already burnt. I only did it once, and it was only in DFS. Right. So I mean, it didn't kill me, but I wasted some money on him, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good play." The Giants aren't anything special, but we've also seen Chase Brown take a little bit more from that backfield and everything. I think I'm going with Christian Kirk, the safety, the upside, maybe not upside, but just the safety of the pick there.
The safety of it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I have no issue with that. Now, if you came out here and tried to tell me that Travis Etienne was the start, we might have to talk. But
no, I mean, there's too much going on there. There's too much going on with the injury and everything. I mean,
there's something off about him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. All right, we got Jamie Parag dropping in. He wants to know he has to take Ingram and Mixon off of IR. He has to drop 2. Freiermuth, Likely, Tracy, Gibson, Dowdle.
I mean, I think you can easily drop Freiermuth. Like especially in redraft, I'm assuming. I don't know.
So too.
Yeah, if this is redraft, I'm dropping Freiermuth. I can always pick up another tight end or something like that. Man, that one is tough. I think I'm dropping Gibson as well. I mean, we can't, even though we're excited about Drake May, I don't think we can be overly excited about the Patriots offense or anything like that. I don't know that Antonio Gibson's going to be a league winner at any point this season. So I think we can drop him and be okay with it.
So here, I agree with you, but does it change your mind that Ramondre Stevenson's out this week?
That's fair. It doesn't. It doesn't really change my mind. From this list, I'm just trying to think of who can actually help you. And I mean, like if Mark Andrews goes down, obviously we know Likely can help you. Yes. If Devin Singletary goes down, Tyron Tracy can help you. Same with Dowdle to an extent. I mean, honestly, I might drop Ingram.
I had that thought actually of dropping Booth and Ingram.
So yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I don't know. Like I feel like Ingram got pushed up because he was the only show in town. But, now we have BTJ. Now we have Christian Kirk. We have other options to throw to. And I wonder if Ingram's even going to have close to the role that he had before. He might be the one. But I also understand not wanting to drop the guy that you've been saving on IR as well.
Yeah. Well, and he could get a lot of volume in that offense. We've seen it happen before. So we'll move on to the next one here. We've got Pate on YouTube. Should I trade Devontae Adams and James Cook for DJ Moore and to Javonte Williams? I'm scared of Cook's turf toe. I'm scared. We don't know when Devontae Adams is going to play. Also, I would 100% make this trade right now.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm trying to figure out, is it redraft or dynasty? I don't even think it matters.
It's got to be. It doesn't really matter either way.
I don't think it matters if it's redraft or dynasty. I want DJ Moore on my team.
Yeah,
it's just that simple.
Yep. No, I agree.
Javonte Williams has had a scary start, but he is not he's looked better as of late. I don't know if it'll continue. He hasn't looked amazing or anything, but he has looked better as of late.
Well, as Nix has gotten more comfortable in this offense, I think you're seeing everyone get more comfortable in this offense. I grossly think that Bo Nix might be someone you could spot start moving forward in redraft 2 quarterback leagues. Anyway,
Yeah.
we move on to Vince Mapstone here. He is 4-1 in the redraft home league. His running backs are Bijan, Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, and Braylon Allen. His wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, and Cooper Kupp. Give me a combo to buy low on CMC. John, what does Beth say?
Well, Beth doesn't do redrafts, so unfortunately I can't help there.
What does John say?
At least as far as trades, I'm trying to think. I think you could easily do a Nico for CMC, but you're probably getting Nico back around the same time that CMC would come back. And then do you want Nico or CMC? I think you want Nico.
Right. Here's what I
know.
Do.
Okay,
I'd move Deontay and Braylon Allen. Because I think you can get someone convinced. People are loving Braylon Allen, and it's not that I don't love Braylon Allen. But I think Braylon Allen and Deontay Johnson, for a manager with CMC who's looking to move him right now, I think it would do it.
I think I'm not doing a single thing. I'm 4-1. I'm not going to worry about CMC. I mean, can we even say for sure that CMC is playing this year? I don't think anyone can tell me 100% sure.
You make a fair point.
Like, I don't even know that I'm actually making, like, there are ways that you can make it done, make it happen. Like maybe a Devon Achane and a Cooper Kupp for CMC, something like that. But I mean, do you want to do that, or do you want to just go win? We know Tua's going to be back. You can have Achane back to health and back to actually scoring fantasy points for you. Kupp's going to be back. Like, just use those players that you already have. I get you might be kind of scrambling because you've lost Kupp, you've lost Nico, Achane isn't scoring points, Tyreek's not scoring points, but there's better days ahead, and you already have a buffer by being 4-1. So I think I'm holding and not freaking out about CMC, and you know what? You can still make that move in 4 weeks if you feel like you need to.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right, we're going to get to Shade 721 back in here with another question. This is half PPR. Need to start one. Jameson Williams, Javonte Williams, or Darnell Mooney. For me, it's Jameson. How about you, John?
Yeah, I think I got to go with Jameson. He's going to be the safest option here. We just talked about how Javonte is looking better, but he has not had like some breakout game or anything like that either. Darnell Mooney, who are they playing? I'm trying to remember who they were playing this week. I have been dealing with I'm a little bit behind this week because I've been dealing with a hurricane coming right at me.
They are playing. I've got it pulled up here. I should know this right off the top of my head. Cover too much football here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we look like really bad right now.
Yeah, Carolina. I talked about this on the DFS show. Yes. I'm
playing Mooney. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm playing Mooney, and Jameson Williams is a nice play though. If you can find a way to fit him in over somebody that's kind of you think you need to start, but then you actually look at it and you go, oh wait, he hasn't actually scored points in like 3 weeks or something. Then get J-Mo in over him. But yeah, I'm starting Mooney until he gives me a reason not to. Honestly.
Mike Reedy and I talked about this earlier. Same thing in DFS. I'm going to roster him at his low prices in DFS until he gives me a reason not to. Now we've got Nick the Kick 17 asking, am I winning if I do Nico for Tyreek and Fields?
Yeah. I mean, Tyreek is going to do bigger, better things, at the very least the same things that Nico's doing, and then you're essentially getting a free Fields. Now, we can't guarantee that Fields is going to be starting the entire season or what's going to happen with that. If I'm assuming dynasty on this one, which I guess I kind of am, then I absolutely love it. If we're assuming redraft, then I don't know really what the downside would be for that. Yeah, I don't think there is. So I like it. I like the Tyreek and Field side in both dynasty or redraft.
Well, and especially if you're quarterback, you're hurting at quarterback, like you drafted Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. Justin Fields is a way better option right now. CJHTX wants to know Trace Sermon or Chase Brown. Chase Brown. Even with Zach Moss in, I still want Chase Brown. Even with Jonathan Taylor out, I still want Chase Brown.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want anything to do with Trey Sermon ever.
Nope, not ever. Not ever. Jacob Anders, start 2 in PPR, John. Amari Cooper, Chuba Hubbard, Austin Eckler, or Bucky Irving. Rashad White, I have heard, I believe he was designated out, or I guess doubtful might as well be out.
Yeah.
So if I'm starting 2 here, I'm not going anywhere near Amari Cooper until Deshaun Watson is out of that lineup. I'm going to go Chuba and Bucky here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you here. Man, I mean, Chuba's the obvious one. It comes down to Bucky or Cooper for me. Obviously, we know that what Cooper can do when he gets the ball in his hands. We also know that he has the most uncatchable targets in the NFL. I think I think this one kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. It depends on how you're projected. Are you projected to win? Are you projected to lose? If you're projected to lose, I'm going with Cooper for like the big upside play. If you're projected to be close or win, I'm going with Bucky.
Yep, I love it. We're going to go on to the Frogs next, John. Neighbors is out. Yes, it hurts. 2 weeks now. He has to move T. Higgins up to his wide receiver 2. There are worse things in this world that could happen to you. Now he needs 1 for his flex spot. We've got Bucky Irving, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Lad McConkey, Xavier Leggett, or Braylon Allen. I could already tell you John's going to tell you absolutely not on Xavier Leggett. So we'll just get that out of the way here. I'm going to say absolutely not to Lad McConkey because of the matchup against the Broncos. They have 3 shutdown corners. I want nothing to do with that defense the rest of this season. So for me, probably Ford on volume.
I'm going with Ford. I think, honestly, I think that Eckler could be a sneaky play, although I wonder how much McNichols might touch the ball with B-Rob out. And so assuming Eckler's actually healthy himself, because we know he's dealt with some issues, I'm not saying start Eckler. I'm saying start Jerome Ford, but I do think that Eckler might have a big week for whatever reason. It's just like a gut feeling.
I can get on board with that. If you're looking for a boom, play Eckler. I like that. Samuel Piazza wants to know, John, buys and injuries are killing him this week. Would you play Dowdle or Sermon if JT doesn't play, but Richardson does play? I'm playing Dowdle. Either way.
Yeah, we just got done. You don't play Sermon unless you just don't. You just don't play Sermon.
Yeah. Andrew Luck or Trey Sermon?
I mean, Luck was so good. It feels good to have a player like that. You know, he's a locker room presence and everything. I think I got to go with Andrew Luck.
He's good for morale.
Absolutely.
It's half PPR 14-team league, and that doesn't really change anything for us there. Lee Ving, Bigsby over Sermon, full point PPR. Yes, it is Bigsby over Sermon. We're going to move on to the next one. Joseph Massey wants to know, Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels? John, I'll let you start this one.
I think you got to ride the lightning, man. You just got to ride Jaden Daniels until he gives you a reason not to. He's doing it. He's doing it with his legs. He's doing it with his arm. There's really no reason to sit here and go, "Oh, it's unsustainable" or anything like that. Normally, I'm the guy that's like, "No, this touchdown rate, the this, the that." Like, just ride it out until he gives you a reason not to. Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are back this week. Things are going to be fine and good for Jalen Hurts moving forward. But they're coming off a bye. They haven't been playing together. There could be some rust there. Yada, yada, yada. Give me Jaden Daniels.
Yep, same. I think he has a real shot at finishing as the overall QB1 this year. He's just been absolutely electric, and he owns his game. That's what I love the most. We've got DV Severe here. My team is hurting bad with injuries and bye. Pick 2, full PPR. Sermon, Slayton, Josh Downs, Tracy, Braylon Allen. So this is pick 2, full PPR. Slayton's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Slayton is. I almost skipped over him for some reason, but yes, he is a no-brainer here. Man, we keep getting these trade Sermon ones, and we keep saying no. Full PPR. It can't be Downs with A-Rich. We have all these rules. Nope. Can't be Sermon. Can't be Downs. And I mean, I don't know that Braylon Allen's all of a sudden going to be fixed. I think I know we've said a million times. I think I'm starting Trey Sermon in this one. If we're starting two, I think I'm going to go with Slayton and Sermon with JT out.
Yeah, I think so too. I would go Tracy if Devin Singletary was going to be out, but since it sounds like he could play. However, if Devin Singletary is ruled out, I would say go with Tyron Tracy and Darius Slayton. But
well, yeah, easily. If Singletary's out, then I'm easily going with Tracy over there.
Yeah, 3P1C fail, PPR, Shaheed Slayton or Tank Dell. I'm going to go Darius Slayton. I feel like it's more a safer floor with Slayton this week. I
feel the same way. I honestly, I have him as a B graded player this week. Like, I think as long as Neighbors is out, you're going to start him. We obviously want Neighbors back as soon as possible, but until then, play the guy. And what did you say? He was 7% owned in leagues? Like, that's unbelievable.
7% as of yesterday, 7% in ESPN and 7% in Yahoo. So I don't know what we're doing here. It is wild. How long did it take people to get on board though with Baker Mayfield?
Oh,
people still aren't getting on board with Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's probably still people going, oh, I don't know about Baker. I don't know about this Baker guy.
You know, he's just like a top 5 quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Guys, I want to thank everyone who has tuned in and asked questions. We are not done. I just want to remind you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are here every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern to answer your questions. Myself. Sometimes I've got John, sometimes I've got Matt, sometimes we're going to have even better guests than me or John could ever imagine being. But make sure you are subscribing so you can catch us. We are here for Start, Sit, Trade. If you've got DFS questions, we're happy to answer them. If you've got some betting questions, we'll take our hand at it. We're here for the football, guys. Next question, John. We have got Todd Culver wants to know, Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, Tank Dell, or Cooper in his flex. It's PPR. I'm off of Cooper. I'm saying that right now. Cooper and Etienne I'm out on. So for me, it's between Chase Brown and Tank Dell. I'm assuming Tank Dell.
Is it Tank Dell or Tank Bigsby? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Chase Brown, I think. I hate saying it because I don't actually know that I like the player, but I just think that out of these options, you know, like once again, Amari Cooper has the highest ceiling here, but we also know the floor that he has. Unfortunately, I don't know that I can feel confident starting Amari Cooper with knowing the matchup that they had last week and the fact that he scored like 7 points or whatever he scored. It makes me hate my life.
Well, in theory, this should be a good matchup for him, but we know it's not going to be because Deshaun Watson's still the quarterback. Historically,
and the Giants haven't been amazing against the run. Like they're kind of like middle of the pack. So, you know, I think that we could easily see Chase Brown punch in a tutty or you know, have a big play or two and score some points for you. So I think I'm going Chase Brown there.
Yep. Okay, I'm with it. DV Severe with another question, John. Should I trade Worthy for Addison? Of course, Xavier Worthy of the Kansas City Chiefs, the rookie wonderkind out of Texas. I would trade Worthy for Jordan Addison if I can get Addison back.
I do not like 1-for-1 deals like this, you know, because somebody has to lose. You know, like even if everyone ends up happy, somebody's still lost because one of these players is going to be better than the other one when it's all said and done. If we're talking about redraft, then, you know, do whatever you want to do. I don't really care. If we're talking about dynasty, I want Worthy over Addison. I think that they're similar talents, and I love both players, and I have both players on my dynasty teams. But I feel like Worthy has a better ceiling with Patrick Mahomes if they can actually figure out whatever the hell's going on with their offense right now, because their offense is literally just dinking it to whoever's in that slot role, a la Rashee Rice or Juju or whoever. They now have a bye week. We know that Kansas City slow plays their rookies, and I know how much I love Xavier Worthy as a talent. I feel like by the end of the season, we'll be looking more towards Xavier Worthy being the wide receiver 1 in that offense than what we're dealing with right now, where he's getting like 3 or 4 targets a game and like that kind of thing. So, you know, if you're wanting to like score points and do all that in redraft right now, then sure, just go get Addison. But in dynasty, I want Worthy. And either way, I don't like doing these 1-for-1 deals. I always want something else on top, a third. Give me something, because at least that way, if I lose this deal, okay, well, I can go get a better player, in the third round or something like that next year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, now we're going to go to Joel's smiley face. This is not so smiley face. I have 9 players injured. What do I do?
Probably smile because you probably have less than everyone else.
Yeah, right. And if it makes you feel any better, in my home league, I had to trade for Justin Fields week 2 because I had Jordan Love and Tua. So that's going well. I am 1-5 thanks to injuries. You can only work the waiver wire so much. There are only so many things you can do. And when you're in a league with people who are suffering similar fates as we all are this season, it's going to be really hard some weeks to put something together. Here's what I'd recommend doing. Find any viable body on the waiver wire you can. Literally, get as many of those guys to IR as you can. And when you're out of IR slots, if you still got to pick up people, look at the guys that you could probably drop that the rest of your league isn't going to be running to grab right off the bat. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, and I will say, especially, I'm kind of assuming this is a redraft league. In redraft, unfortunately, a lot of settings are really bad, and they don't allow enough IR spots and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you have 2 IR spots. Well, I have 9 injured players. What am I supposed to do here? And unfortunately, I'm assuming you're probably not doing as well. You have to make some tough decisions. But we just talked about how we feel like Darius Slayton is a great start. He's only 7% owned in leagues. That's a player that you can go get right now, throw into your lineup. And then, you might actually be able to win a game or two. And then next thing you know, some of these injured players come back and then, you can actually make it through. So you really just have to grind harder than everyone else when you get to this point, or you have to give up. But I would say don't give up just yet. It's still pretty early.
Look, we're only 6 weeks into the season at this point. We've gone through 5 fantasy contests. I'm 1-4 in my home league, and it pains me. But I'll tell you what, I haven't given up yet. There are things you can do. Other teams are suffering similar fate. So just don't give up hope, Joel. Don't give up hope. Jamie Prague wants to know, would you play Mixon in his first game back over Pickens or Pollard? Yes.
I mean, Pickens definitely seems to be in the doghouse right now. I kind of want to see him be on the field all the time, actually have a full snap share and be in the good graces of his coaches and everything before I roll him back out there. I don't have him as a terrible play, but I think that the upside of Mixon, assuming he's healthy, he practiced in full, I believe, today. So I think the upside of Mixon, I'm going with that. Like I said, I want to see Pickens not be in the doghouse for a week before I can truly feel comfortable putting him into my lineup.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Plus, I need Arthur Smith to go away, please. We've got Bob on X, got an offer for Gibbs and Mike Evans for 2025 first and third, a 2026 first and second, Dynasty Superflex rebuild team. I'd get the picks. So he's giving away Gibbs and Evans, but he's getting 2 2025 picks and 2 2026 picks. John, is this a deal you're making?
Hell no. Jahmyr Gibbs is my running back 1, and that might not mean much in Dynasty, but he's my clear and obvious running back 1. He has been before the season. It always felt weird, but he was my RB1 going into the season, and during the offseason, everyone's freaking out about Bijan, freaking out about Brees, and I was just sitting here grabbing as much Gibbs and everything as I could possibly get because he kind of seemed to be the forgotten one. But Gibbs is the closest thing that we have to Alvin Kamara, from Alvin Kamara, prime Alvin Kamara. He's the closest thing that we have. And he's doing very similar things to what Alvin Kamara did in year 2 and in year 3 and beyond. So I don't see any reason why he can't continue scoring points like this for, 5-10 years or whatever. And I'm not doing it for random first, especially you start getting into, picks 2 years down the road. I'd much rather those be throw-ins in a deal than something that I'm actively saying, oh, I have to get. A rebuild team, Jahmyr Gibbs being the RB1 is going to help your rebuild team a hell of a lot more than 2 random firsts, one of them being 2 years from now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think people are equating Gibbs to DeAndre Swift for some reason because Swift played a similar role in that offense. But dude, Jahmyr Gibbs is way, way better, way more efficient all around. Bob, or another trade, same league, Mooney, Reed, Marshawn Lloyd, a 2025 fourth, a 2022 sixth first, 2026 third, 2027 second. No.
No, same thing. I mean, why are we doing deals for 2 years in the future when in that first in 2 years is going to get you what? Jaden Reed, maybe. So
Right?
yeah, like I'm not doing it.
Yeah, no. All right. Vince Mapstone wants to know, I have to play Brad Bolton 2 leagues this week. Can you guys put a curse on him for me, please? I will do no such thing. Brad's one of my boys. I'm sorry, Vince. I love you. But
all right, I normally would, but wasn't it Brad's birthday this week?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have to actually root for Brad this week, unfortunately. Now, by us rooting for him, he will probably now lose. So there you go. You got your curse.
On accident.
On accident.
Yeah. All right. So now we have got Iggy here in the chat. He wants to know, he traded Gino, A-Chain, and Dell for Love, Monty, and Leggett. What do we think? Ooh. I know you hate the Leggett side almost immediately.
I mean, he's nothing. He's absolutely nothing. I don't think this is a bad trade. I think it's fair. I want Achan and Tank Dell. I'm fine with Gino, and like I know this is probably gonna sound like blasphemy. I feel like Gino and Jordan Love are very similar as far as like talent levels.
That's not blasphemy.
Oh, I bet there's people, including isn't Vince a Green Bay fan? He's probably screaming at us right now. But I think like talent wise, they're pretty similar. And I mean, obviously Jordan Love's much younger, but I think that give me Devin Achan. Things are going to be fine once Tua comes back. That offense gets back. We know that Tank Dell is a talented player. Monty is great, but all he is a touchdown vulture. He's a touchdown vulture in a very good offense, but he is still just a touchdown vulture. And then Xavier Leggett's an absolute nothing for me. So give me Achan and Dell.
Yeah, I love Tank Dell. Just absolutely love Tank Dell. And I think Achan's future is very, very bright in the league. And I don't think that's Geno Smith is talented. That's a good comparison. He just was on crap teams for so long and crap organizations. He got a shot with a good organization and he's been considerably better. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that comparison. And if you've got a problem with it, I guess you've got a problem with it.
Start Brendan your own show. Start answering questions.
Bring us on and you can roast us all day. Brendan Miller wants to know if you should start Josh Jacobs or DeAndre Swift this week. I'm going to go with Swift's upside. Outside of obviously red zone, but I like DeAndre Swift in this offense enough that I will start him over Josh Jacobs this week.
I'm with you. I think that I've been basically out on Jacobs the majority of the season. I don't know that he's actually proven me wrong at any point beyond like getting 40 touches in a game, that was like the 1 week that you could say, but other than that, he's just looked like completely meh, and I don't think that there's that much upside. When it comes to Jacobs, I think that there's definitely upside. And we said earlier that Chicago's offense looks like it's moving in the right direction, and Swift is a part of that.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with Swift. I like Josh Jacobs. I thought I was going to like him more in this offense. He's running back 24. He needed a touchdown last week to be real fantasy relevant. So otherwise he's a sub 10 point player. Brad Russ here wants to know Dowdle, Jerome Ford, or Bucky Irving in PPR, John.
I think I'm going with Bucky here. Ooh. Yeah. I'm just like, we see what Rachaad White's role is in that offense, and now he's not going to be there. So I think that Bucky's going to have a big game in full PPR. He's going to have, even if he doesn't put up amazing stats, if he has, like, look at what Kenneth Walker did last night, where I think he had like 33 yards receiving, but he had 8 receptions. Mm-hmm. I could easily see Bucky Irving doing like the same thing this week. So I'm going with Bucky there just for the upside, because we both like Jerome Ford as a start this week, but he's not going to have 18 dump offs or whatever. Bucky Irving might get that. Yeah, Bucky
might get there. No, that's a good point. All right, B Ruckus dropping in. John needs a flex between Swift, Tank, Wandale, Deontay Johnson, and Chris Olave. Pick one. I'm probably going to go Wandale for the same reason I'd say Darius Slayton if he was in here.
Yeah, I need people to start actually like specifying the tank, unfortunately, because and we unfortunately right now we have two tanks that are actually
We
like
do have two tanks.
viable. So yeah, I wish that one of them would change their name. Although in Beth, it's always, I don't know why, but they always say Nathaniel Dell, and so in Beth, it's always Nathaniel Dell. It's
Nathaniel
not actually
Dell.
ticked up for me. All that said, I really like Wandale as a start this week as well. We've already talked about Slayton on the upside of that, but we know that Wandale is just going to get uber targeted. He's probably going to have 12, 13 targets when it's all said and done. And I think
He might only have 50
I'm,
yards.
yeah. I mean, but it's kind of like going back to the Kenneth Walker thing. It doesn't really matter in full PPR. Like,
nope.
Unfortunately, the scoring system's broken, but until people actually fix it, which I have done in my leagues, and if you ever want to know more about that, hit me up. I will tell you how to fix it. But until people actually do that, these people catching, 9-10 balls for 40 yards actually matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, Roy Z, kill him here. Laporta or Kraft, Singletary or Tracy. Kraft over Laporta for me this week, and Singletary over Tracy, just because he's the RB1. And if he's starting, you have to go with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that one's answered very easily. If Singletary doesn't play, then you don't even have to freak out about it. But if Singletary plays, you're playing Singletary. He is the RB1 in that offense. I think you have to go with Tucker Kraft until he gives you a reason not to. He's literally been the tight end 1 2 weeks in a row. I get there's been some extenuating circumstances and stuff that has helped that along. It doesn't matter. If he's the tight end 6 this week, you're still going to be happy. Laporta has a lot more to prove, and that his role has changed, unfortunately. And as good of a player as he is, I need to see it before I take Tucker Kraft out of the lineup.
Yep, same. Now, one more from Roy here. Darius Slayton or Brian Thomas Jr. this week? I'm going to say Darius Slayton.
I think I'm with you. I mean, it just sounds so gross with talking about a Giants player, especially a Darius Slayton that's been in the league for 5-6 years now. Has never been absolutely amazing besides maybe his first season when people kind of like fell in love with him, thought he was going to be a stud, and then it just never really worked out. I have them essentially tied in Beth, so I really don't think you can make a bad decision here. I think that Slayton might have a little more upside, so I think I'm with you. I think Slayton's gonna be the pick there.
Yeah, Slayton's upside for me is just the volume he's going to see, because there's going to be a ton of it. All right, we've got DL dropping in here. Love the analysis, guys. Thank you so much, DL. We appreciate it. Needs 2 wide receivers in a flex out of Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Tank Dell, Jameson Williams, Alec Pierce, and Dontavian Wicks. 2 in a flex. MHJ, I think, is obvious here. Past that, I'm going to throw in Alec Pearson and Dontavian Wicks.
I mean, I feel like Alec Pierce has to just be a desperation play. Like, the only reason why you're really playing him is if you are like down by 20, you're projected to lose by 20 or something. Then you go with Alec Pierce because you might get a 0, but you might get 30. And you hope for the best there. I know it's definitely not going to be Wicks for me. It's not going to be Tank Dell for me. I think I'm going to go with MHJ and JMO here. I think that I just think, with the upside of the two offenses, and MHJ hasn't put it all together except for that one game, but we could easily see that happen this week.
Yep. All right, we're going to move on to Jesse. Who should I start between these 5? London, Dell, Devontae Smith, JMO, or Tank Bigsby? So if we're just picking one to start, I'm going with the smoking upside of Drake London.
Oh, he's a smash play this week. If this is starting 1, I think we don't even need to go through the rest of the list.
Nope. We're going to move on to leaving Davis or Johnson. Cook short or long-term injury or misses time at all. Well, there's some legal trouble that popped up today too. I think he probably Ty Johnson this week. If Cook ends up missing any extended period of time, I want Ray Davis.
Yeah, but has Davis even really hit the field? I honestly haven't paid attention to that, but I don't think he's done much.
He hasn't done a whole lot. It's been some spot work, but when he's been on the field, he's looked pretty good.
but it's been the Ty Johnson show for the most part, like spelling James Cook and everything. So I think you got to go with Ty Johnson until they give you a reason not to. And I did not know about legal trouble. Like I said, I've been dealing with the hurricane and stuff. So I guess I haven't been paying attention to the page 6 stuff.
Oh, it's just something I caught as a notification as I was sitting down here. We're going to move on to Jackson Baker. I need to sit one between Henry, Hall, Mixon, Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, AJ Brown. Thoughts on who to sit here? For me, it's Garrett Wilson.
Man, that is a tough question. I think it's got to be Breece Hall.
Well,
I think it's got to be Breece Hall.
I think for me, it's a toss-up between Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson.
I mean, we saw Garrett Wilson get, like 15 targets last week? I mean, I know that he didn't do, like, crazy things with it, but I mean, he's especially in full PPR once again, like you're getting 20 something points out of that. Breece Hall's touched 20 points once this whole season. I just think that right now, as much as I love Breece Hall as a player, like they're just not using him right. The offense is kind of broken. Yes, they've changed things this week. Maybe this will be the week when all of a sudden Breece Hall gets it, but I need to see it. Obviously, you're not benching Henry. I don't think you should bench.
Oh, the rest of these guys are absolutely not.
Yeah. So I think I have to go with Breece Hall. I get benching G Will with the offensive change and everything, but I think I got to go with like the running back that hasn't done much just yet.
To be fair, he did have 23 targets last week. So Garrett
23 targets. That's what I'm saying. Like they're making a point to get the ball into his hand. And I know big things haven't happened, but guess what happens when you get 23 targets? Eventually you turn that into a 200-yard and 3 touchdown game.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. All right. We're going to move on to Boston Rebels here on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for all the questions. This has been a blast. We're just here to help you win, and hopefully we're doing the job right now. He says, hey guys, drop Braylon Allen, Juju, Ty Chandler, Dontavian Wicks, Downs, or Tyrone Tracy. He's got Roshan Madison, Ray Davis, and McConkey on waivers he's looking at picking up. You're not dropping Juju. You're not dropping Downs because there's always a chance Flacco comes in and plays a couple of games. Probably Ty Chandler, I think.
Yeah, I think Chandler's probably the easy one. I mean, honestly, I'm assuming this is redraft just based on who's available on waivers and everything. I have no issues. I have no issue dropping Wicks. I know he had the one big game, but like we saw that was because they threw 54 times. He just happened to score twice. Then he had the perfect situation this past week, and he completely just falls flat on his face. He's going to have up and down games. He's going to have games where you go, man, I should have kept him, but you would have never known when to play him. Like you should have played him last week and he did nothing for you. So like going forward, you're never going to know when to play him. I would just drop him, but I don't hate dropping Chandler either.
Yeah, I think either one is fine with me. Todd Culver wants to know, someone in his league dropped Michael Pittman. Do I drop Worthy or Ford for him in PPR? Probably not. Not with Anthony Richardson back healthy. If we were looking at long-term Flacco, I'd probably be more excited about it, but I'm just not.
I guess it depends on how you are like at running back. I really don't hate dropping Jerome Ford for him, but like sometimes, especially this time of year, injuries, bye weeks, all that kind of stuff, having a guy like Jerome Ford can actually like help you win weeks where Pittman, it's kind of the same thing we just talked about. Like you're never going to know when to play him with Anthony Richardson in there. You're going to have 2-point weeks. You're probably going to have 25-point weeks, but you're never going to know when to play him. I love Worthy moving forward. I think they're going to figure that out at some point and actually get him the ball a la week 1, get the ball into his hands. I'm kind of assuming this is like a 10-man league or something like that, just by who's been dropped. But right. I just think that, especially like if we are thinking as a 10-man league, Worthy has the best upside for me. Jerome Ford is probably going to help you more than anything else. But if you are just stacked at running back, I really don't hate dropping Ford and grabbing Pittman.
Yep. All right, John, we're going to start firing through some of these questions pretty quickly here. We have got a lot coming in. Building Cambrian. Oh, we're going to go back here. I missed another one of his questions. So we're going to go to the Bendu. Full PPR, Wan'Dale Robinson, Dontavian Wicks, Keenan Allen, or Jerome Ford. I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson because it's full PPR this week.
Easily. And like we said earlier, until Keenan Allen shows you that he can be the old Keenan Allen, just kind of keep him out of your mind.
Yep. Oscar O wants to know, John, Calvin Ridley versus the Colts or Brian Thomas versus Chicago?
BTJ, baby.
I'm BTJ. Even against that secondary, I still want him in. Matt Wingo 89 wants to know, non-PPR, Pollard or Hubbard, non-PPR, Deontay or Cooper. Hubbard and Deontay.
I mean, does it have to be one or the other? Is that how I'm reading it? Like it has to be one of the running backs, one of the receivers. Then I'm going Hubbard and I'm going Cooper. I mean, non-PPR, Deontay does not have the upside that you would normally be considering.
All right. Agree to disagree, sir. We're going to bring in Squid here, Trey Sermon or Tank Bigsby for the about 1,000th time. And this is not your fault, Squid. We're just stating it. Tank Bigsby is the play here, never Trey Sermon. Glenn Brock, full PPR, one flex. McNichols, Keenan, Shaheed, or Kraft. He's already got Bowers in at tight end. I'm still going to roll out Tucker Kraft. I think of these four players, he has the highest ceiling this week.
Until he proves you wrong.
Yep, exactly. AZ42, start Bucky or Mooney in half PPR. I'm going to go Darnell Mooney here.
I tend to agree.
Yep. Iggy, new subscriber here. Thanks. Thank you, Iggy.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Make sure you tune into the Debbie Devotional every Tuesday with John here and his beautiful face and his wonderful co-host, Aaron. Jamie Parag, with Gus Edwards out this week, do you think we'll finally get to see Vidal?
I do. I hope so.
But it's not going to be as fun as you want it to be against this Denver defense, Jamie.
Denver's defense is absolutely legit. Like, it's scary how good their defense is.
I love it as someone who lives in Denver. Glenn Brock, who's a better backup to Dak, Fields or Bo Nix? Absolutely Fields. There are weeks where I would be starting Justin Fields over Dak Prescott. I believe I have Justin Fields ahead of Dak Prescott in my rankings this week.
I mean, I'm guessing the question is probably with the scariness or the ambiguous nature of Justin Fields. Do we know, is he going to be a starter the rest of the season? Like that kind of thing. Sure. That being said, I don't really care. It's always Justin Fields. Like he has the upside to actually like win you a league compared to Bo Nix, who has the upside to lose you a game. So
Felix Sharp from the Campus to Canton crew over here dropped in once. So if you're switch hitting on him, looks like you might be here. James here wants to know Etienne or Mixon this week. Mixon for me.
Yeah. I think Mixon pretty easily. Until we see, like you said, something's going on with Etienne. Obviously, we know the shoulder injury and everything. There's just something going on with that offense, something going on with him. Until we see Etienne back healthy, off the injury report, all that kind of stuff, give me Joe Mixon.
Yep. Mr. Scampers dropping in to say good afternoon, fellas. What is up, Mr. Scampers? Always a pleasure to see you drop it in. Bryce Long wants to know Rico Dowdle or Bucky Irving rest of season. Where are you at on this one, John?
Bucky Irving. I mean, I'm guessing this is redraft, but Bucky has the ability to win you a league. Rico Dowdle does not have that.
What do you mean? He also wants to know, do I trade Bucky, Deontay Johnson, and Downs for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I can afford to lose the depth. If this is a season-long redraft, no. If this is Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's Dynasty, I'm doing that all day long. If it's redraft, I think even if you feel like you can afford to lose the depth, you can't afford to lose the depth.
Yeah, not this season. You can't afford to lose it. Nick the Kick 17 with another question. He wants to know Zay Flowers or Brian Thomas Jr. this week.
It's always Zay Flowers for me. He just has so much more upside than BTJ. BTJ has definitely earned a role, and I love him as a start this week. But Zay Flowers is my baby, so I will always say Zay.
Yep. All right, now Adian wants to know, he traded Pollard and Higgins for JT, has Jacobs and Mixon at running back. How do we feel about this? Feel good? You like it?
I actually wasn't listening, but sure.
So Adian traded Pollard and Higgins for JT, already has Jacobs and Mixon at running back. How do you feel about it?
I think that JT will be better than Jacobs when it's all said and done. I think I like it. I like I like the trade.
I'm with it, man. Wide receivers are Nico, Debo, Reed, Rome in full PPR. That's a pretty good wide receiver room too, Adian. I really like that a lot. All right, Nino Pena wants to know, which side would you rather have? Olave and Spears, or Scary Terry and Bucky Irving?
Give me F1 and Bucky, baby. I love Olave, but it just something's not working with him and Derek Carr. I don't think anything's going to get better with Spencer Rattler, unfortunately. Give me F1 and Bucky, because we're seeing Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin actually become better and gel, and so we're seeing that he's forcing the ball into his hands. He's become an every week option, and thank God, because I actually traded for a decent amount of F1 this year, and it did not look great after week 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden it was wait a second, he remembered that Terry McLaurin's on the team.
Thank God.
And Bucky has the league winning upside, whereas Tajay I don't think quite has that.
We thought he did, maybe, just not this season. Vince Mapstone, shout out to John's Clock, but special shout out to the Duck. Does it have a name? Vince, I totally forgot I put that guy up there. I was cleaning out the basement a couple of weeks ago. It's Jackson's old rubber ducky. I think he called it Quack.
I thought he was still talking about me because the name of my company is Duckies, and I was like, "Oh, do I have a Duckies logo or something?" And I'm looking around, I'm like, "Oh, it's not me."
No, it's this guy right here. I went back and I found the questions from Building Cambrian. He got an offer for Gibbs and Mike Evans. Oh, nope, we did roll through this one already.
Yes, sir.
We did. All right. We're getting down to the end here, guys. Max Belowski. Should I try trading Wilson and Chubb for Bijan Robinson? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that Nick Chubb's going to have any relevance the rest of this season. I know he's trending towards playing, and they opened his 21-day practice window, but that doesn't mean he's going to be even close to what he was.
I mean, I'm guessing this is redraft, because you're not making this trade and
no, it's redraft.
I guess you could. But in redraft, man, Bijan has not looked amazing. I don't know. It's the situation
in the offense, and that's what it's going to be. Mike Reedy and I talked about it on the DFS show earlier that he's talented, he's great, but Tyler Algier is also a pretty damn good running back, and this offense is just going to continue to use him. We don't love it, but it worked for Arthur Smith and it's working for Raheem Morris. So they're probably just going to keep doing it. We've got Brandon Van Rain dropping in here, John. Can I drop Xavier Leggett for Jalen Tolbert? Love the content, Brandon. Thank you. We appreciate that. Yes, you can drop Xavier Leggett for Jalen Tolbert. He is second on the team in targets, receptions, and yards.
I wrote an article for DLF about Tolbert being a buy low, and then the next week he went and got 2 points, and I was like, "Oh, great! Look at me, I'm an idiot."
Perfect.
And then, but then this past week he kind of went all out. So yeah, I guess I'm looking a little bit better now.
We've got Glenn Brock back in the chat, John. Full PPR, flex Tucker or McNichols and Conklin or Kmet. I'm going to flex Kmet, and I'm probably going to flex Trey Tucker.
Oh, it's Trey Tucker. I was thinking Tucker Kraft. Okay, that makes more sense with this level of players, because I'm like, why are we asking this question? But yeah, I think, man, we have a new starting QB in Las Vegas. Conklin is like leading all tight ends in snaps and routes run and things like that. Man, I want to go Conklin. Man, I hate to say it. I want to go Conklin and Kmet.
All right.
I just think you can... I think that they're both going to get targeted quite a bit this week.
Okay. All right. I'm on board with either one of those guys. So I love it. Bryce Long. I have Achane, Cup, Neighbors, all of my IR slots. I'm going to have to drop 3 people. One of the reason why I'm doing 3 for 1 on that trade. So in that situation, I understand that. And I'm okay with it. Derek wants to know Higgins or Deontay in full PPR. John, which side are you on this one? Your audio's gone, John.
Sorry about that. It's Deontay.
There you are. Deontay. Yeah, it's Deontay for me as well. Alex Philocto, I hope I said that right. I'm sure I didn't. He gets Cooper Kupp. I give up Bijan Robinson Jr., Jordan Love. However, he already has Jalen Hurts.
Brian Robinson Jr., not Bijan Robinson Jr. That's a different play.
Brian Robinson Jr., Jordan Love. However, I have Jalen Hurts. I think I'm pretty okay with this trade.
Yeah, I mean, assuming redraft, I have no issues with it, and assuming one QB. Jordan Love doesn't do anything like special for me in one QB,
Same.
And especially if you have Jalen Hurts.
Yep, same. 3P 1C fail PPR pick 2: Xavier Hutchinson, Dalton Schultz, Trey Tucker, Tyron Tracy, Ray Davis, or Tyler Algier.
Man, I really hope this is like an extremely deep league. Because these options are getting, or I guess it's just,
Dude,
how fantasy football is. I know.
Every league is an extremely deep league at this point, John.
That's true. Yeah, it's getting ugly. Man, I think Trey Tucker is probably the obvious one. If Devin Singletary doesn't play, Tyron Tracy would be an obvious one there as well. But with him out, I don't know that you can actually play him. I think I'm going Tucker and Algier.
Tucker and Algier for me as well.
Yeah.
All right, last question. If you guys have any more, I know you're out there in the chat, guys. Throw them in here before we have to get out of here. We have lives too. It's not just football. We have spouses. We have kids. We have dinners to eat. We have things to do. Tobias wants to know, trade Gibbs for Neighbors and A-Chain. Would you trade Jahmyr Gibbs if you could get Malik Neighbors and Devon A-Chain back in return?
I think there's no. I just talked about how much I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's my running back 1 in all of Dynasty. I don't know that there's a redraft or Dynasty designation here. I think the answer is yes. You get Malik Neighbors and you get Devin Achane.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Wow. So we ended on an agreeable note. You gotta love that. Wait, hold on. We got one more dropping in here. We're gonna pop this guy up, Mr. Scampers. We got to get to our Scampers, homie. Half PPR Singletary if he plays, or Sermon Singletary.
And then Tank Dell or BTJ.
Yep. Let's see here. I'm gonna say BTJ because I don't think Tank Dell's fully healthy yet.
Look at that. We agreed 3 times in a row. BTJ.
What?
Baby.
Oh my goodness, the world's going to end. Well, the world's not going to end, but I want to remind you guys that we will be on Reddit this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be me. It will be Casey Kasem. It will be Mike Reedy answering your start-sit questions. So if we couldn't get to you tonight, you didn't get your question in time, you can either hit us up on Twitter at Optimus Fantasy, at Nate Polvovt. You can also hit us up, team@optimusfantasy.com if you prefer the emails. Then hit us up on Reddit, 11 a.m. Eastern, right up until kickoff. We'll get through as many as we can, guys. We're generally sitting at about 1,000 questions over an hour and 45 minutes. It's insanity, but we do what we can. For John Arrington, I am Nate Polvovt. We wish you the best of luck with your fantasy football endeavors in week 6. Check out optimusfantasy.com. Read my rankings and all our great content. Good day, sirs and man.